Left-handed pass on 3rd and long. Fuck Mahomes. No-look pass. Fuck Mahomes again, even though that was pretty badass.
I am a menace. Keep me a rage, I like tennis. I'm with this shit like I'm Dennis. I started this, I'm a business. Be hating, trying to blemish my image. He want the smoke, 2 to 3K with the scope. Extended clip long as a rope. We rob his nose, just like he had him a cold. I knew the boy was a pull up with the gang. You know that we buying it. What is your setting? What is you claiming? I am a beast.
Welcome to That's Good Sports. I am Brandon. Until Patrick Mahomes has at least 5 children, how can he call himself an AFC West quarterback perna? Phillip Rivers got 9. Joe Flacco's got 5. Derek Carr has a collection of 8,000 micro machines. And Mahomes, well, let's just say throwing footballs isn't the only thing he's good at doing with his left hand. Today, we take a deep dive and get an in-depth bio about each AFC West quarterback's children. Oh, sorry, that's a report for my sustainability class. Today, we're going to review the Kansas City Chiefs offseason, their player moves, the draft, and a bunch of shitty jokes to predict whether or not they will be better in 2019. Chargers and Raiders to come as I power walk through the AFC West, but today it's the Chiefs. That's Good Sports. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel. I will have my Patreon shoutouts at the end, but right now I want to thank Scentbird for sponsoring today's episode of That's Good Sports. Scentbird is a monthly subscription service that gives you the opportunity to sample over 600 colognes and skincare products. Yes! It smells good! Each month, with Scentbird, you will receive a 30-day supply of a new scent, or cologne if you will, which is 120 to 140 sprays, which, per a recent survey, if you live in Denver like me, you will certainly use, which concluded Denver residents only shower every 4 to 5 days. To do that, you need Scentbird. This month, I received my Burberry British edition to time up with the birth of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's child, of course. So, use my code GOODSPORTS for 30% off your first cologne. That's just $10. You can see the 5 colognes I've tried so far in my description with the discount link. Again, promo code GOODSPORTS. Scentbird. Let me begin with my bold prediction for the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes will have more rushing touchdowns in 2019. He had just 2 last season, which I was very surprised by. I assumed he had like 5. Instead, he was tied with Tom Brady at just 2. Basically, the only quarterback record of Brady's you don't want to be tied for. The Chiefs' biggest offseason signing, of course, was bringing back Jamal Charles for a 1-day contract so he could take a handoff in a suit from Patrick Mahomes. This was a punishment for Charles after he betrayed the Chiefs by signing in Denver for a season. Hey, yeah, come back for a day, Jamal. And we'll show you exactly how stupid you are for being born 10 years too early and having to waste your career taking handoffs from the Tyler Thigpens, Matt Castles, and Alex Smiths of the world. Seems a little harsh to me, but that's just how they do it in Kansas City, I guess. I think 2018 was a surprise for everyone in the NFL in terms of Patrick Mahomes coming out of the gate looking like a seasoned veteran. In last year's episode, I said I thought he'd be pretty good, but would have a slump in the second half of the season. 50 touchdowns later and a D Ford and a bullshit roughing the passer penalty away from winning the AFC Championship game, and I was dead fucking wrong. And I swear to God, if one of you Chiefs fans in the comments say, yeah, I knew he would be good right away, you are a shittier liar than Tyreek Hill, Bill Clinton, Lance Armstrong, the 1919 White Sox, and my parents who told me I could be anything when I grew up. And I chose underperforming YouTuber because I'm stupid too. The 2018 season went down like this for Kansas City. Defenses will figure out Patrick Mahomes at some point. Mahomes can't keep throwing this many touchdowns, can he? Defenses will surely figure out Patrick Mahomes. Oh God, will Patrick Mahomes break the touchdown record? Left-handed pass on 3rd and long. Fuck Mahomes. No-look pass? Fuck Mahomes again, even though that was pretty badass. Mahomes uses ketchup for sex play with his girlfriend. Can the Chiefs beat the Patriots? Nope. Can the Chiefs beat the Patriots in the playoffs and get back to the Super Bowl for the first time since FDR could actually walk? Nope again. The Chiefs cut Kareem Hunt after he forgot to use his rewards credit card at a hotel, and Travis Kelce did some stuff in there too. The Chiefs never scored less than 27 points in a game, and they still managed to lose 4. Saying Kansas City's defense was atrocious is an understatement, and frankly embarrassing for every coach in the Kansas City locker room. After firing defensive coordinator Bob Sutton, Andy Reid said Bob is a good coach and a good person. Reid was about half wrong. He's a terrible fucking coach, and Reid's loyalty to him cost him his first real chance to get back to the Super Bowl since leaving Philly. Good thing you guys hired Steve Spagnuolo, who upon returning to the Giants as defensive coordinator in 2015, helped that defense rank dead last in the NFL, and followed it by seeing the Giants defense underperform every year. In 2012, Spagnuolo's defense in New Orleans gave up more rushing yards than any other team in NFL history. Steve did have success with the New York Giants Super Bowl team, which did know how to beat the Patriots. That's his silver lining, but was also stacked with talent. You cannot say the Chiefs' defense is stacked with talent at this point. And maybe Spaggy will be decent with a great offense, giving him the freedom to put his defense in position for turnovers. But as a Broncos fan, I loved this hiring for Kansas City because I thought it made their defense 0% better. Some of the key losses for the Chiefs include Justin Houston, Dee Ford, Eric Berry. We know that. Basically, anyone who made the Chiefs' defense good in 2016. 2016 was the last time Eric Berry really played any meaningful football. What he did against Gronk in the playoffs certainly wasn't meaningful. Other losses include center Mitch Morris, corner Steve Nelson, who signed with the Steelers, and based on the way they evaluate talent in the secondary, that was probably the right move, Kansas City. Also, wide receiver Chris Conley, tight end Demetrius Harris, and Jordan Devey, who betrayed you, Chiefs fans, and signed in Oakland. Shame on him. Shame on that backup lineman who looks like 1990s Bizarro Ben Roethlisberger. And we're still waiting to find out whether or not Tyreek Hill will be on the roster by the start of the season. If they have any decency, he won't, outside of a total exoneration. But that takes away Kansas City's best offensive weapon. Sorry, I shouldn't use weapon and Hill in the same sentence. A playmaker. The Chiefs survived the loss of Kareem Hunt, but Tyreek Hill is the reason their deep and underneath passing game works so well, because he's able to stretch the field better than anyone else in the NFL right now. I will be curious to see what the offense looks like without Hill, if that is what ultimately comes to be. I think Travis Kelce's game will be most affected if Hill is gone. Now, key free agent additions might be Jamie Collins, who is projected to land with Kansas City per a CBS Sports report. If true, when you factor in Emmanuel Ogbah and Carlos Hyde, Kansas City is basically trying to sign every player Browns GM John Dorsey is getting rid of. The big free agent acquisition, of course, was the signing of defensive back Harold Jones-Quartey and some other dude named Tyrann Mathieu. Linebacker Damian Wilson, defensive end Alex Okafor, AAF standout corner Keith Reeser, tight end Blake Bell, and outside linebacker Jeremy Atauchu, who hasn't seen significant playing time since 2015 with the Chargers. I already discussed the Frank Clark trade with great detail here, so you can watch that video, but we will see if giving up more to acquire him than simply paying Dee Ford was worth it over the next 2 to 3 seasons. If anything, you can conclude that the Chiefs didn't get enough in return for the Dee Ford trade. Now, looking at next season, possible breakout players for Kansas City could be running back Damian Williams. In a small sample size, with 51 carries in the regular season, he had a higher average per carry at 5.1 than Kareem Hunt. And he also scored 4 rushing touchdowns in that same time span. I like his potential to be a featured back, but I'm not sure how much they intend on using Carlos Hyde, which would affect Williams' breakout ability. Another guy to keep an eye on is Demarcus Robinson, who will probably have a bigger role in the offense if Hill is gone. Robinson caught 22 passes for 288 yards and 4 touchdowns last season, including an 89-yard TD against the Raiders in the last game of the season. Might be an interesting fantasy football pickup late in your fantasy football draft. Like Williams, Robinson's touches will depend on not just Tyreek Hill, but the role rookie Mecole Hardman plays, which leads us into the Chiefs draft, where I give them an arbitrary grade of B-. Call me crazy, but I think every team does a B in the draft. Any other grade is stupid, unless you literally miss your draft pick like the Vikings or Ravens. The Chiefs addressed many needs, starting with Georgia receiver Mecole Hardman, who I just mentioned, then Eric Berry's replacement in Virginia safety Juan Thornhill, great name, by the way. Defensive tackle Colin Saunders from Western Illinois. Corner Rashad Fenton from South Carolina. Running back Darwin Thompson from Utah. And center Nick Allegretti from Spaghetti and Meatball U. Hardman is getting the attention right now. But for my money, Juan Thornhill and Colin Saunders may have much bigger impacts on the defensive side of the ball. Saunders is a massive 324 pounds with tremendous athleticism who could be a wrecking ball, filling in for Chris Jones or held next to Chris Jones, because I think he can play nose tackle or whatever it is when you're on the defensive line and not a defensive end or a nose tackle. He can do that position too. Thornhill is like Tyrann Mathieu in his versatility. He could be used as a dime linebacker at times, which is a big need for the Chiefs. And I like him paired with Tyrann Mathieu instead of Jordan Lucas, their other safety. Prediction for the 2019 season is exactly the same for the Chiefs. 12-4 with a loss in the playoffs because I don't trust the defense, especially the linebacking trio of Ragland, Hitchens, and Wilson, or Dorian O'Daniel, who sounds way too Irish to be good at linebacker. Now, here's what I hate to admit about the Chiefs. Despite all of the off-field bullshit and Riddler-level question marks on the defense, they will probably be just as good in 2019 and beyond because of Patty Mahomes. All that shit I talked about Steve Spagnuolo is probably going to bite me in the ass. The Patriots, for example, lose key players on defense almost every year, and they are fine because of the consistency at quarterback, head coach, and offensive coordinator. I believe that's the formula Kansas City is trying to abide by, but with a defensive coordinator instead of an offensive coordinator, because Belichick is the defensive mastermind in New England, much like Andy Reid has the offense under control in Kansas City. Now, players who must step up are depth pass rushers Breeland Speaks in his second season, Emmanuel Ogbah, or the impossible to say Tano Passanio from fucking Kalamazoo, Michigan, who attended Wassahickon High School. Look at all these insane words he's associated with. Look at him! It looks like George R.R. Martin dropped acid and just started adding Game of Thrones houses and lords on a whim. If the depth on the defensive front is strong, paired with the elite Chris Jones, the very good Frank Clark, and solid play from Alex Okafor, the Chiefs may have a very competitive defensive line. A unit that could be good against the run and very good at getting to the passer. Those two things, plus a big offensive lead, could see the Chiefs with a much more opportunistic secondary, even though I don't think they upgraded heavily on the back end. Maybe the Chiefs aren't worried about the secondary because the only reliable passer they face twice a season is Phillip Rivers. Well, Chiefs fans, I have 8 words for you. Elite Joe Flacco is in the AFC West. So you better pray against the elite god that is Joe Flacco. Now, if corner Charvarius Ward turns out to be good, that could make a huge impact on the Chiefs' defense. He didn't look bad in his 4 games at the end of the season, but has a sample size too small to get a good read on as of now. If he plays well, your only liability at corner is Bashaud Breeland. Patrick Mahomes simply will not be as good as he was in 2018. He threw 50 fucking touchdowns. So just ask Tom Brady how hard that is to do. Don't bother asking Peyton Manning because he easily threw 55 touchdowns in a season. Plus, Mahomes may not have Tyreek Hill to throw the ball to across the field when the entire play goes to shit. They're going to have to figure out a new play for when the play goes to shit. The area Mahomes can improve is ball security. 12 interceptions is not bad at all, but I think he can drop that number, which is terrifying. If Andy Reid is smart, the Chiefs will emphasize the running game more in 2019, as Mahomes will be at threat level midnight for every defense. The Chiefs were ranked 16th overall in rushing yards last season. A way to make Patrick Mahomes more effective is to take just a bit of pressure off of him with a consistent rushing attack. The Saints and Patriots were 5th and 6th in 2018 with 127 and 126 rush yards per game. I think that's the sweet spot for a team like Kansas City, and a potential huge advantage with most defenses having to fear the pass every play. So barring a Mahomes Madden 20 curse, Kansas City is still the team to beat in the AFC West. That's all I have to say about that. And if you're a Chiefs fan, I think you owe it to yourself to donate to my Patreon account for all the nice things I said about a team that I hate.
Blueface, baby.